What's up, captains? Welcome aboard another episode of the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast. And happy freaking 2022. Happy New Year, everybody. We made it. I am fucking stoked for this year. I don't know about you guys, but this is going to be the best year of my entire life so far because I'm going to make it that way. I wouldn't have it any other way, right? So I'm going to give you guys my best goal setting strategies for today. I'm recording this podcast New Year's Day, and I'm going to get it out to you New Year's Day because I believe that it is that important. If you haven't already done this, this podcast will help you hopefully give you some strategies on how to set those goals. And then more importantly, actually stay consistent with those goals. So to start it off, I want to read a passage from January 1st, Daily Stoic Journal by Ryan Holiday. The passage is actually from Epictetus, who states, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals, not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself, to the choices that are my own." So I posted this on my Instagram this morning, that before you commit to 2022, before you start setting goals, before you envision what the year or the coming months are going to look like, I believe that you first need to let go of whatever it is that was holding you back in 2021. Now, that's going to be different for everybody. It could be self-limiting beliefs. It could be your fear. It could be your lack of accountability. For me, what it has been recently was my breakup with my now ex-girlfriend. That had consumed a lot of my mental energy. It had cut down on my productivity. It was affecting me in a lot of ways because I was letting it. I was dwelling on the past instead of working on myself for the future. So I'm going to give you a few strategies that have helped me to let go of whatever it is that is holding you back. So to start it off, I'm going to read a quote from Effortless by Mccowan. I got this for Christmas. I've been diving into it recently. It has been wonderful. I'm 3 chapters in. So to start off the book, he talks about, so here's the quote: "When your brain is filled with clutter, like outdated assumptions, negative emotions, and toxic thought patterns, you have less mental energy available to perform what's not essential." Essentially, your mind looks like this. If you can see this on the screen, there we go. For TikTok, you can see it. For Instagram, you can see what I'm talking about. It's basically just a clusterfuck of scribbles. And that's what's going on in your mind if you continue to hold on to these negative emotions, these self-limiting beliefs that you have, if you're dwelling on what you can't control from the past or what you believe might happen in the future, which is called anxiety. If you're worried about what could potentially happen in the future, you have a cluttered mind. That obviously diminishes your performance in everything. Day-to-day tasks like remembering where you put your keys or having to reread a paragraph over and over because you can't comprehend it because these other intrusive thoughts are just replaying over and over. A large part of that is due to holding on to these assumptions and things of that nature. So we need to let go. Whatever it is that was holding you back in 2021, we need to let go before first committing to 2022. All right. So some strategies to do that. Focus on what you have. In episode 113 of the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast with Chase Tollison, he brought up the reticular activating system. And what this is the example he gave is, say you're looking to buy a new car, right? You're doing some research on the internet, and then all of a sudden, anytime you're out and about, that's all you see are these cars that you're looking for, or the same model of car that you're looking for. It's not that all of a sudden more people had that same car. It's because now that you're looking for something, you see it. An example I do with my clients on some coaching calls, if I notice that they're having these self-limiting beliefs and these negative thoughts pop up, I say, all right, wherever you're at, take 30 seconds. I'm going to time you. See how many, and you guys can do this too. Try it right now. Take 30 seconds. Count all the red objects that you see in the room. If you're watching on YouTube, you can even do this with my background here. So I'll kneel down, and you can count how many red things you see. And I'll just pause. Look for all of the red objects. How many are there? Quite a few if you're watching on YouTube right now. I've got a pretty red room. All right, time's up. What's your number? Whatever it is. Now, how many green objects did you see? Probably none, right? You might have subconsciously noticed that there was some green, but you weren't counting any of the green objects. Now replace the red objects with negative thoughts and emotions, and the green objects with positive thoughts and positive feelings and emotions. It's not that those feelings aren't there. It's that you're not noticing them because you're focusing so much on the negative. That's what the reticular activating system is. And that's what you need to understand. So once you understand that, focus more on the positive side of things and focusing more on what you have. In this book, he gives a great diagram of what that looks like. So you can see on, this is difficult with the microphone, but you can see on the left here that if you focus on what you lack, then your perception of what you already have starts to shrink due to the reticular activating system. On the other hand, if you focus on what you have, then that expands and you start to forget all of the things that you believe that you're lacking. Okay. So focus always on the positives, what you have, be grateful for what you have. And then here's another nice one that I posted on my Instagram today. When you focus on what you lack, you lose what you have. When you focus on what you have, you get what you lack. I love that. I hope that in at least the YouTube video that this reverses itself, because I just realized right now it's backwards. But anyways, so focus on the positives, focus on what you have, be grateful for what you have. That's the next step in this book is focus on gratitude. And next step for that, I want to jump to Gary Vee's book, 12 and a half, because he is big on gratitude. So I've got it marked here. All right. He says, how can I be upset about such a small thing for so long? I'm playing my life's mission. I'm doing my thing. Of course, I'm going to lose every now and then. In the face of disappointment, gratitude is my chess move to limit dwelling on it. All right. So that's from Gary Vee. And the same applies for your life. The same applies for me. I was dwelling on something that I could not control. I was dwelling on the past, on what was, on what could have been. And that was severely limiting my personal and professional growth. And as soon as I let that go, it's like this picture in Effortless, like the scattered mind that I showed you. It's like the opposite of that. So you can see the scattered, and then this is what it was like once I let go. Clear-headed. I was able to focus. I was able to concentrate on my work. I was able to concentrate on myself on personal development, what I'm doing, what I can control, my thoughts, my beliefs. So how does that pertain to New Year's goals? Again, because I believe that before you can commit to whatever it is that you plan on doing in 2022, you must first let go of these self-limiting beliefs, let go of the baggage that was holding you back, release the anchors that were tying you down in 2021 because they are no longer serving you. And if you try to go into 2022, but you never release or accept and let go of that baggage, it's going to carry on with you in 2022. No matter how many goals you set, if you don't accept and move on from the past, let go of whatever was holding you back, it's going to keep coming up. So that is step one. So again, how we get rid of that is first, focus on what you have. Be grateful. Understand what you can and can't control. You can control your thoughts, your actions. You cannot control anybody else's thoughts or actions or what they do, what they say. Doesn't matter. You can control what you do. And we're going to get into that a little bit later when it comes to accountability. And then, like I mentioned, acceptance. But before that, you have to relieve your grudge of its duties. That's next up in Effortless. Instead, turn that negative energy that you're experiencing for this person, for that event in the past that you're blaming something on. Instead, turn that into positive energy and use it to propel you forward. That's a lot of what Ryan Holiday talks about in his book, The Obstacle is the Way. Turn your obstacles into opportunities for growth. Every single one of my seemingly biggest failures has led to my biggest breakthroughs. All right. So use those obstacles as opportunities. Be grateful for them. This is a quote from the book. Grudges cost us resources, but don't deliver a satisfying return on our investment. So we must relieve a grudge of its duties. So if you're holding on to something from the past, all it's doing is zapping mental and sometimes physical energy from you. It's not serving you. It's not providing any positive return on investment. So you might be asking, well, why do people form grudges? Why do they feel so good to hang on to? Here's a few reasons. Sometimes we hire a grudge to make us feel in control, to make you feel superior, even powerful. There are times when we hire a grudge to give us attention, right? Because if you continue replaying that victim mentality, if you tell other people, oh, woe is me, listen what happened to me, this person did this to me, then a lot of times if people don't understand the victim mentality or how sympathizing with that is actually a negative feedback loop, then they will sympathize with you and they will give you that attention that you want. Oh, I'm so sorry. That must be so horrible. Like you had no control in that situation. All of that nonsense, right? We can hire a grudge to get us off the hook, blaming others instead of taking accountability for what you can control. Thinking that other people did something to harm you, thinking that they were out to get you. Somebody cut you off in traffic. They must have been doing that. Like they left their house this morning to come in and cut me off in traffic. That was their sole purpose. No, probably not. Right. So don't blame anybody else. Take ownership. We hire a grudge to protect ourselves. So to protect yourself from the people who you believe hurt you. But I believe that you are the only one who is able to hurt you. Nobody else can hurt you physically, mentally, emotionally, unless you give them permission to. That is the power of your mindset. That is the power of what you believe and your perceptions and the story that you're telling yourself about that person or that event. Nobody or no thing has the power to harm you unless you let them. So a lot of people use grudges to get over that. But of course, that is not the right way. And then last but not least, what I've been talking about is accept what you can control. And I like this quote from Henry Longfellow. For after all, the best thing one can do when it is raining is to let it rain. I love that. So you could replace the rain for whatever this negative situation is that you're experiencing, whatever grudge that you're holding, instead of worrying about how to control it. Because if it's outside of you, yourself, if it's a grudge with some other person or some event that happened or might happen in the future, you can't control it. So accept it. If it's been in the past, if it's in the future, you can control whether or not you respond, how you respond to that instead of reacting to whatever situation. But if it's in the past, accept it for what it was and let it go. There's no changing it. Doesn't matter. It's over. So here's a quote from the book. When we let go of our need to punish those who've hurt us, it is not the culprit who is freed. We are freed. When we surrender grudges and complaints in favor of grace and compassion, it's not an equal exchange. It's a coup. And with every trade, we return closer to the calm of our effortless state. So that is why I spent the whole first part of this podcast talking about strategies to let go of anything that is outside of your control, of anything that was holding you back in 2021. Because if you go into 2022 with this cluttered mind and these self-limiting beliefs and lacking control and accountability and putting blame on other people, doesn't matter what goals you set. If those self-limiting beliefs are present, they will continue to hold you back from success. All right. So that's it for part one. Part two, I want to talk about SMART goals. So once you have released whatever it is, whatever that anchor was that was tying you down, that you believed was tying you down, when in reality it was yourself all along, your perception of the event. Once you've released that, then now it's time to set SMART goals. I'm sure you've heard of this before. This is not new, but I just want to reemphasize how important these are. So if you just say, I want to lose weight, great. So do you and 7 billion other people, right? Everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody's been trying to lose weight for however long they've been fat, right? And it hasn't worked. So make SMART goals. What are SMART goals? SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay. So specific, instead of I want to lose weight, make it extremely specific. Who, what, when, where, how, why. Okay. So I want to lose 20 pounds by April 2nd. I will do this by going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. So that is a very specific goal. Okay. It can't just be this broad thing. I want to make more money. No, define the exact amount and then make it very specific. Okay. Next step is measurable. There, you have to have a way to measure this. So for the weight loss example, 20 pounds, that's easily measurable. Although I don't necessarily recommend putting a number to your weight loss. I like to tell my clients that it's more about how you feel. So what is the feeling that you associate with losing 20 pounds? So I believe a better goal would be in 3 months or by April or March, whatever. I want to feel more energized. I want to be more confident. I want to be more focused and clear-headed. All of those are the feelings that are so often associated with weight loss. Those are the feelings that people are looking for with 20 pounds. It's not about the 20 pounds. It's how they believe that they will feel and look when the 20 pounds are lost. So make it measurable. And if instead of using the weight, because that's easily measurable, but I don't believe that's the best metric, instead of weight, if you're doing the feelings, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate yourself right now. What is your level of happiness? What is your level of energy throughout the day? What is your level of confidence? whatever it is that you're trying to improve, rate that on a scale of 1 to 10 now. And then 3 months from now, rate it again. And then, well, don't wait 3 months until then. Do it maybe once a week to see how you're progressing. Okay. I have all of my clients do this before anybody listening right now can go do this. They can go to info.thecaptainslifestyle.com/2022. The link will be in the description, and you can fill out the initial assessment, and this will rank you on the optimization scale. And I ask a lot of these questions on a scale of 1 to 10. What is your average daily happiness? How would you rank your energy levels throughout the day? How stressed are you? How satisfied are you with your current lifestyle? Things like that. So rate yourself, make it measurable. Next up, we have Achievable. So many people, especially around New Year's, I think set crazy, ridiculous goals that a lot of times they don't stick to, right? That's why February comes around and nobody's in the gym anymore. So make it achievable for you. So if you've been a couch potato for the whole 2021, don't say I'm going to the gym every single day for 2 hours, right? That's a little ridiculous. Start off small. Okay. And small, I shouldn't say small, start off achievable. Hence the A in the SMART goals. Start off achievable for you. Okay. So maybe for you, that's 3 days a week, and stay consistent with that. You can always increase your goals. It's far worse to start off with a lofty goal and then decrease it. That hurts your self-esteem, right? So start off small. Say, okay, I'll go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then stay consistent with that. That's much better than saying, I'm going to go to the gym Monday through Friday, and then you don't stick to that. And then you feel bad, and then you just say, fuck it, and then give up. All right. So start with smaller, more achievable goals. Next up, we have relevant. Make sure that your goals are relevant to your end goal. So a good place to start for that is by reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've recommended this in a bunch of different podcasts. There's a reason that the first 3 weeks of my program, I have my clients define what I call their MVVP: mission, vision, values, and purpose. Because if you don't have a very clear and defined picture of where it is you want to go, what you want to accomplish, who you want to be remembered as, the legacy you want to leave, if you haven't defined that, how do you know your goals are going to get you there? You have no idea. It's like having a roadmap of New York, trying to navigate the streets of Los Angeles. Like, you're going to get somewhere, but is it actually where you want to go? Right? So it's extremely important to begin with it in mind. This book, The 7 Habits, is a great place to start. And then after reading this, I recommend reading First Things First. He further defines a lot of this stuff in that book. So yeah, you can see it's habit number 2 in the 7 habits. Habit number 1 is be proactive, which you're already doing. You're already listening to this podcast. You already clearly have some interest in personal development and improving your life in 2022, or else you wouldn't even be listening to this podcast. So you've got the proactive part. Okay. Now it's just time to plan out what the end looks like for you. All right. So that's what the R stands for in SMART goals. Make it relevant to you and your end goal. Next up, T, time bound. Put a time limit to it. What is it called? I believe it's what I'm blanking on the name, but there's a principle that states a task will stretch to fill the amount of time allotted for it, something like that. So this is why a lot of people spend all day on work, or people who have a 9-to-5 job, even though they could get the work done in a few hours, they have to stay there from 9 to 5. So the work fills up that whole entire thing, right? I have clients who are working from home now who still have a traditional 9 to 5. They can get the work done in a few hours, and then they got the rest of the day because they've blocked out that time. So instead of saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to feel happier, be more confident, be more productive and mentally clear, just in general, what's the time limit on that? Within 3 months. Okay, cool. Got it. And then that makes it much easier to actually accomplish that goal instead of just having it be very vague. Okay, so that is SMART goals. Next up, I want to talk about being intentional with your attention. So I got this from Brendan Bouchard. He's a high performance coach. I was on his webinar this morning talking about goal setting. And these are the steps on how to create and actually stick to new habits that become new behaviors, that become new personality traits, right? So here's the order. First, it starts off with an intention. You have to be intentional about it. These things don't just pop in your head randomly. You have to deliberately set your intention. Okay. Place your attention on your intentions. This is another reason why it's important to begin with the end in mind. Don't just be randomly wandering throughout life. Okay. Same thing on social media. Be intentional with who you place your attention on. You choose which accounts you follow. If you follow a bunch of toxic accounts that you don't like, that always bring you down and post negativity, that's your choice. Unfollow those people. Be intentional with where you spend your attention. So once you've set that intention, okay, you've made the intention to improve yourself for 2022. Got it. Next up comes behavior. Do it. Just start. Okay. Because I always like to say, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. It only becomes power once you implement it. But then not just once, which is what leads us into the next one, make it a habit. So do it consistently. Do it daily. So a behavior is just something that you do once, right? You got the intention, you try it, just like the New Year's gym membership. They have the intention to work out. They go to the gym. They exhibited the behavior of going to the gym, but then they drop off. They don't stay consistent. So they never make it a habit. So make it a habit. Do it daily. Or like I mentioned, do it 3 days a week. Whatever it is, commit to it. Commit to doing it consistently. Okay. That is what will help create a habit. Once you stick with that, then it becomes a practice. Okay. What do I mean by practice? Doing it consciously. So don't just go through the motions. That can be good to start, just to make sure that you stay consistent with that goal, but then start to move into a more conscious mindset. So doing it consciously means that, so practice does not make perfect. Okay. That common phrase, that's bullshit. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So when you're doing this new goal or habit, whatever it is, be conscious about it. Be mindful. Practice your form in the gym. If you want to be a better speaker, practice the mechanics of speaking. Don't just, talk nonsense. Practice these things. Okay. Be mindful of it consciously. After that, it starts to become second nature. So after you consciously focus on perfect practice of these new habits, then it just starts to become second nature. That you do it consistently, you're doing it consistently well. And then once you continue to do that, it becomes your personality and it shapes your personal reality. And then once it's part of your personality, that just becomes who you are. So I like to tell my clients, you have to become the type of person who does these things, who is happy, who is confident, who is full of energy, who doesn't have brain fog, who is laser focused on their work. You have to become that person, not just doing the habits, but you literally have to believe these things about you. You have to adopt this new lifestyle. So I called my program the Captain's Lifestyle Program, because it is a new lifestyle. You have to become a new person. You have to change your personality, which then changes your personal reality. Okay. The most important part of this, I believe, is staying consistent. Consistency wins always. If you're trying to grow your social media, consistency in posting, consistency in reaching out and connecting with your audience, consistency in the gym, consistency in your new lifestyle habits. That is the answer to success. Like just pick one thing that you're going to do consistently, and then do it consistently, and then watch the growth that happens. I think the major reason why so many people fall off their journey towards success is they don't stay consistent with it. They give up somewhere along the line. That's the difference between winners and losers. Winners lose all of the fucking time. Winners lose a lot. Winners fail. The difference is that they don't let that stop them. They keep going. They stay consistent. They learn. They figure out what went wrong, why they failed, why they lost, and then they change that. They improve it and keep going. They stick with it. So whatever it is that you want to achieve, understand that it's going to take consistency. There's no quick fix. There's no do it once and you're done. It's all about consistency. Okay. And that becomes much easier to do once you've defined your mission, vision, values, and purpose. Okay. So get 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've read that book like 3 times. A lot of my program, at least the first part of it, is based off of the exercises in there. I believe having your mission statement, vision statement, understanding who you are, what you value, what your purpose is, that knowing your why behind what you're doing. Who said this? I believe it was Friedrich Nietzsche. He said, I'm going to butcher it exactly, but something along the lines of, a man can bear with almost any how if he has a strong why. So whatever your why is, when times get challenging, because they will get challenging, then you can go back to your why. And that is what will keep you going. Okay. That is what will help you stay consistent. To stay consistent, to start even being consistent, you have to start. So many people forget about being consistent. So many people never even fucking start. So many people have been saying, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight. Yeah. I'm trying to go to the gym. Yeah. I'm trying to spend more time with my family. I'm trying to be more focused. And then they never start doing anything, right? They never reach out to a coach. They never invest in themselves. They just never start because of whatever reason. There's supplementing belief that they don't have enough time. They believe that they can't do it. They believe that usually it's those things, that they can't do it right now, either because lack of time or lack of energy or lack of motivation or lack of money, all bullshit excuses. Okay. So just start. The first step is taking that first step. The journey to the top of the mountain starts with step 1. So step 1, take a step. Just fucking start. Whatever it is, whatever you want to do, just start. All right. And honor the struggle. Like, it's supposed to be hard. You're supposed to face challenges. That's what it means to be a man. Men overcome challenges. Men overcome obstacles. Men turn obstacles into opportunities for growth. People always tell me like, oh, I don't want to take a cold shower. It's too hard. Yeah, motherfucker. That's the whole fucking point, is to challenge yourself. David Goggins' whole thing, get hard, stay hard. Yeah, these things are hard. That's why most fucking Americans are fat and lazy and just average, because they're comfortable. They're complacent. They never challenge themselves because it's easy. It's easy to lay on the couch and be a fat ass. It's easy for a lot of people to focus so much on their business and neglect their family life and their own personal health. I work with a lot of clients like that. It's easy for them to work on their passion, which is their impact-driven business, which is good, but not if it's at the expense of your physical health and the happiness of you and your family. So embrace the challenge, embrace the suck. As a man, you're supposed to suffer. Actually, I should rephrase that. Not necessarily suffer. You're supposed to challenge yourself. It's up to you whether you believe it's suffering or not. If you believe it's making you better, and if it's for, the greater good, then you can change the phrasing around from suffering. So, and if you stay complacent and comfortable, then you never achieve greatness or excellence. And in the book, Good to Great by Jim Collins, he explains that good is the enemy of the great. So a lot of you right now who are listening to this podcast are living good lives. You're making a living, doing whatever it is that you're doing. You've got food to put on the table. You can support your family. You've got the job. You've got the car. You've got the house. You're living a good life. And you're fucking complacent with it. You got comfortable. Somewhere along the line, you gave up on these big, audacious goals that you used to have. Now, if you're happy, that's totally fine. If you're 100% content and fulfilled with your life, that is fucking awesome. But you probably wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you were. So if that's the case, if you got comfortable and complacent with how you've been living your life, if you got comfortable with the good and were scared to tackle the great, then listen to this. I'm reading from Good to Great. So, to go from good to great requires transcending the curse of competence. Okay? So, people always say all the time, like, hey, how you doing? Good. Oh, okay. Why not great? Why aren't you fucking amazing? Why are you just good? Or if they say, yeah, I've been okay, or I'm all right, just all right. Is that what you're going for? Are you going for all right? You just want to be okay? No, no, not listen to this podcast. We want to be fucking excellent. Okay. So release yourself from the curse of competence. All right. And then it goes to talk about discipline. Discipline is a huge part of being a man. If you're not disciplined enough to not scroll through social media, if you're not disciplined enough to retain your semen and refrain from your desires like masturbation or whatever foods that you're addicted to or coffee, if you don't have the discipline to limit that instant gratification, that's a big problem. As a man, as an entrepreneur, that's something that we definitely talk about in detail in the Captain's Lifestyle program. And that's another reason why it's so powerful, why you need to have your MVVP. Because when times get tough, which they will, go back to your why. Why are you doing this? That makes it much easier to stay disciplined. All right. To round all this off, I want to read a passage from the Calling Man Journal, which my friend Sean Percy Travis, who I've also had on the podcast, this is his journal that he created. It's been fantastic so far. So I just want to read you this passage. Your mission is now. The journey is happening. Men are everywhere doing this same climb. We are a tribe. We are with you. So I just want to let you guys know out there that I am here for you guys. And the Captain's Lifestyle crew, which is my private online mastermind, we are here for you guys. We meet once a month. We're meeting tomorrow, actually, to talk about New Year's goal setting and self-limiting beliefs and the power of language and all that stuff. But if you're not in the mastermind, I recommend that you are. If you've made it this far into the podcast, you would get a lot out of the mastermind. But I am always available on Instagram. Please feel free to reach out to me, because a huge part of sticking to your goals is accountability. Now, a lot of you may be struggling with having accountability for yourself because you haven't awakened that divine masculinity in you. Once you've awakened that divine masculinity, you're accountable for yourself. You don't need other people to help hold you accountable. But for a lot of guys out there, they haven't yet. And so it's difficult. They're much more likely to let themselves down than somebody else. which is okay if that's where you're at. We're all in this together, right? We're a tribe, the Captain's Lifestyle crew. We are in this together as men. All right. So I'm always available for whatever it is that you want to reach out to me for. I'm here to help. If you want a extremely high level of accountability, a personalized approach to 2022, to all these new goals that you want to set and achieve for the new year, then there's still some spots available for the 2022 Captain's Lifestyle Program, Masculine Entrepreneurial Optimization. All right. So I recorded a whole podcast on this. I'm not going to go into depth, but the link will be in the show notes of this podcast. You can apply, and it will take you to the link to fill out the initial assessment. And once you fill that out, then we can hop on a call, talk about where you rank on the optimization scale. And then I'll set you up with a game plan for success. So talk about your goals, your vision for the future, what's currently holding you back from achieving those goals. And yeah, that I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of that. It's free. It's no obligation call. It's not a sales call at all. I'm just trying to help out men like you who are in this position. Maybe you're suffering. Maybe you just want to take your game to the next level. Doesn't matter. We are all in this together. So that is it for today's podcast. I hope it helped you set smarter goals. I hope it helped you understand what it is going to take to achieve your goals in 2022. Again, the most important things being consistency. Well, first, just getting started, just being proactive. Step 1 in 7 habits, be proactive, do it, do the thing. And then consistency, doing it over and over again, and then holding yourself accountable. All right. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, don't forget, live the Captain's Lifestyle. Peace.